The imperial state crown is one of the crowns which constitutes the royal crowns that are actually worn by the monarch from the collection of British royal crown jewels. The imperial state crown is made with platinum and diamonds, also containing other stones such as spinels, rubies, and emeralds. The imperial state crown also has black felt and is worn by the monarch in special occasions, unlike the St. Edward's crown. This is the first done in the 14th, 15th century and has been modified from then on. This is not the crown used at coronations, but it is usually worn by the monarch at the end of the coronation. It is smaller than the actual St. Edward's crown, but is a very beautiful crown indeed. Moreover, the imperial state crown symbolizes the power and integrity of the British Empire and has been in its current form from 1937. The imperial state crown has 2,868 diamonds and 17 sapphires, and some of the famous jewels which are on the imperial state crown are St. Edward's sapphire, Black Prince's ruby, and the Cullinan second diamond, cut from the largest diamond in the world, the Cullinan diamond, discovered in Africa. The steel crown of Romania is the official state crown for Romania, and all of the kings of Romania were crowned with this crown. The story of this crown starts in 1877 when Romania was under Ottoman rule, and it fought a war of independence alongside Russia against the Ottoman Empire. And in a battle at Plevna, they captured an enemy tank, which they melted and turned into this crown. This is a symbol of them winning their independence by fighting and also of modesty, because Romania's king Charles I didn't choose a normal gold crown but chose a steel crown, which also symbolizes the fact that he participated with the soldiers there, and that's why it's a very beautiful symbolic crown and it's the symbol of Romania. The crown of Mexico is a superb example of the combination between the crowns of Austria, because the Emperor Maximilian III was Austrian, and the crowns of France, because he was brought by French people. Unfortunately, this crown was put out of use in 1865 after only 2 years when Emperor Maximilian was killed. The Austrian crown is the crown used to crown the sovereigns of the Empire of Austria and Austria-Hungary. The Austrian crown represents heaven and has a mystical choice in the number of stones. The stone on top, more exactly, represents heaven, and the crown of Austria is an open crown, like the Russian Empire's crown. We can see some fresco detailed in gold on its sides and numerous stones attached to it. In the end, it is a very, very beautiful crown and a great, great symbol for Austria. The German state crown was commissioned in the year 1871 by the first German Kaiser to represent the German state. It was never actually made into a crown and only a model was kept. But nowadays the situation has changed. Inspired treasures made a real life replica crown of what it would have looked like if it would have been completed off of the state made sketches. This crown is represents the Holy Roman Empire and the unity of Germany, it being really like the Holy Roman Empire crown. The crown of Russia is a wonderful crown made entirely out of platinum and diamonds, which served as the coronation crown for all Russian monarchs since the Empress Catherine the Great. It presents many floral motifs and an arch symbolizing the power and stability of Russia. They were stolen by the Bolsheviks during the revolution, alongside with the consort's crown and all of the regalia. Fabergé did many replicas of this, but the original is made by another. In the end, crowns are a symbol of the country that they're assigned to, and the symbol for the people of that country and for that country as a whole. That's why we must cherish these crowns and study them and protect them because they are the symbol of that country and extremely important to those people. The Hohenzollern crown is a German crown made for Emperor Wilhelm II, or Kaiser, how they're said, for his coronation in the year 1988, because the German state crown wasn't existing. It was only a model, though represented heraldry. So the other two emperors before him were coronated just as kings of Prussia, but he wanted to be coronated as German emperor, so he made this beautiful crown with pearls as his coronation crown. The crown of the Holy Roman Empire was for a long time the most important crown in Europe. It is the crown made for Emperor Otto the Great, not for Charlemagne, as it thought. This crown contains the base, which was made the earliest, and you see there has hinges because it could be dismembered easily for travel purposes. Later were added the rest of the elements. We can see its age because of the stones, which are uncut and unpolished and are quite big. It also presents biblical drawings on the crown of Jesus and on other figures. The crown of George IV is the crown made for the coronation of King George IV, and it has jewels which were rented, so they had to be brought back. And because of this, the crown is missing its jewels now, and it's only the platinum base. The crown of George IV is special and it's way more beautiful than what you would have expected from that time because George IV waited 9 years to become king and he wanted for himself something very special, unlike people had back then. Nowadays, royal crowns and regalia made a miniature replica of George IV's crown, so we can visualize it at home with the gems and everything. The crown of Camilla is actually the crown of Queen Mary, the wife of George V, which was then modified for her coronation. Her crown had 8 arches, but now it's been modified and it has 4 arches. And it is special because the arches flow now more naturally on Mary's crown than on other crowns. For example, her predecessor, the wife of Edward the Ninth. The British Crown of India is a very, very special crown because it was made for the coronation of King George V as Emperor of India, and it has only been worn since. The crown is quite controversial, but it is kept in England. That time, the coronation of George V was its single use. it haven't been used from then. The crown of Bavaria is a delightful crown made in the empire style for the kingdom of Bavaria and its coronation ceremony. The original stones on the crown include several emeralds, sapphires, and more. You can see here the crown is in with the regalia is displayed in a museum in Bavaria. The crown of the Queens of Bavaria was made in the year 1806 by King Maximilian I to be for his wife Queen Frederica to be crowned with. The stunning crown, being accompanied by stunning crown jewels, was given to the Grand Dukes of Baden, the Grand Duke Charles, by Emperor Napoleon in 1806. The crown of Württemberg is a crown made in 1822 by the court jeweler of Württemberg, although this crown was never even used at a coronation, and it's also called the Rocco crown of Württemberg. A set of crown jewels which included this crown was commissioned in the year 1843 by Crown Prince George with the occasion of his marriage to Princess Marie. The crown of Prussia was commissioned in the year 1701 for King Frederick I of Prussia and has been used for the coronation of Prussian monarchs until the year 1888 when the crown of Hohenzollern appeared. The crown of Poland was made in the late 17th century for the coronation of King August II in Krakow. The crown and regalia of Poland was lost in 1929, but now is on display at a museum in Poland. The crown of Netherlands was a crown made for King Willem II of the Netherlands, and unlike most royal crowns, it is made out of imitation pearls and silver gilt, so not actually really gold and real gems. The crown of Napoleon is the crown made for Napoleon I's coronation. And although Napoleon was actually crowned with some laurel wreaths, symbolizing that he was the next Roman emperor, this crown was meant to be shown at the coronation side as well. It presents the body, the structure, the same as Louis XV's crown, which you will see later, but instead of precious stones, it has cameos, another symbol of the Roman Empire. Empress Josephine's tiara was made especially for her by the court jeweler on the occasion of her crowning, and she wore this tiara for the rest of her life. The royal crown of King Louis XV is the only French crown for the Bourbon era which hasn't been melted at the French Revolution. This crown was auctioned in 1887 with other French jewels which were distributed worldwide, but this one was retained and now is in exhibition. The papal tiara is an example of a religious crown used by religious rather than military and political leaders, and this crown was gifted to Pope Pius IV in 1804 by Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte. This crown was made for the coronation of King Eric of Sweden, which was crowned in the year 1560 and had this new wonderful crown made from himself. We can see the detail on this crown and the jewels and the pearls and everything, which makes it all a stunning crown. This crown was made for the crowning ceremony of King Wenceslas, King Saint Wenceslas, and his wife in the year 1228. This is one of the finest examples of medieval crowns and one of the oldest crowns which still remains. The last crown which concludes my documentary is the crown of King Henry VIII. The crown of King Henry VIII was made for the coronation of King Henry VIII out of gold and numerous precious stones such as pearls, sapphires, etc. The crown has been lost, burned through the fire of London, but now some crown experts have made a 1:1 scale replica, which we can see at Hampton Court Palace.